Introduction. The miracle of self-discipline. There are 1,000 excuses for a failure, but never a good reason. Why are some people are more successful than others? Why do some people make more money, live a happier life, and accomplish much more in a same number of years than greater majority? What is the real secret of success? Often I begin a seminar with a little exercise. I ask audience, how many people here would like to double their income? Almost everyone smiles and raises their hand. Then I ask, how many people would like to hear lose their weight, get out of debt, achieve financial independence? Again, everyone smiles, some people cheer, and they all raise their hands. Then I say, wonderful. These are the great goals that everyone has. We all want to make more money, spend more time with our families, be fit and trim, and achieve financial independence. Not only we all want the same thing, but we all know what we have to do to achieve them. Before we started, we all decide that we need to take a little vacation, the wonderful place called Someday I'll. We say that someday I'll read that book, someday I'll start that exercise program, someday I'll upgrade my skills and earn more money, someday I'll get finance under my control and get out of debt, someday I'll do that, all those things that I know I need to do to achieve all my goals someday. Probably 80% of the population lives on the someday I'll most of the time. They think, they dream, they fantasize about all those things they are going to do someday. And who are they? Surrounded by the someday I'll. Other people on the someday I'll. And what is the chief topic of conversation on the someday I'll? Excuses. They all sit around and swap excuses for being on the someday island. They all sit around and swap excuses for being on the island. Why are you here? They ask each other. Not surprising, their excuses are largely the same. I didn't have happy childhood. I didn't get the good education. I don't have any money. My boss is really critical. My marriage is no good. No one appreciates me. The economy is terrible. They have come down with the disease of excuses, which is invariable fatal to the success. They all have good intentions, but as everyone knows, the road to hell is paved with the good intentions. The first rule of success is simple. Vote yourself off the island. No more excuses. Do it or not do it, but don't make excuses. Stop using your incredible brain to think, to elaborate, rationalize and justify for not taking action. Do something, do anything. Get on with it. Repeat yourself, if it is to be, it is up to me. Losers make excuses. Winners makes progress. Now how can you tell if your favorite excuse is valid or not? It's simple. Look around and ask, is there anyone else who has my same excuse, who is successful anyway? When you ask this question, if you are honest, you will have to admit that there are thousands and even millions of people who have had it far worse than you have, who have gone on to do wonderful things in their life. And what thousands and millions of others have done, you can do as well if you try. It has been said that if people put as energy into achieving their goals as they spend making up excuses for failure, they would actually surprise themselves. But first, you have to vote yourself off the island. Humble beginnings. Very few people starts off with many advantages. Personally, I did not graduate from high school. I worked at the laboring jobs for several years. I had limited education, limited skills and a limited future. And then I began asking that question, why are some people are more successful than others? This question changed my life. Over the years, I have read thousands of books and articles on the subject of success and achievements. It seems that the reason for these accomplishments have been discussed and written about for more than 2000 years in every conceivable way. One quality that philosophers, teachers and experts agree on is importance of self-discipline. Discipline is what you must have to resist the lure of excuses. It is self-discipline that enables you to vote yourself off the island. It is the key of great life, and without it, no lasting success is possible. The development of self-discipline changed my life, and it will change yours as well. By continuously demanding more from myself, I became successful in sales and then in management. I caught up on my schooling and took an MBA degree in my 30s, which required thousands of hours of determined study. I imported Suzuki vehicles into Canada before anyone else, set up 65 dealerships and sold 25 million USD worth of vehicles. And this is all after I had started with no knowledge of the industry. What I had, however, was the discipline and determination to learn what I need to know and then apply what I need to do. I got into real estate development with no knowledge and experience, applied the power of discipline which backed my hundreds of hours of work and study. I then went to build shopping centers, industrial parks, office buildings and residential subdivisions. With self-discipline, I have built successful business in training, consulting, speaking, writing, recording and distribution. My audio and video programs, books, seminars and training programs have sold more than 500 million in 36 languages and 54 countries. Over the years, I have consulted for more than 1,000 companies and more than 5 million people in live seminars and talks. In every case, the practice of self-discipline has been essential to my success. I discovered that you can achieve almost any goal you set for yourself if you have the discipline to pay the price, to do what you need to do, and to never give up. Who should read this book? This book is written for ambitious, determined men and women who want to achieve everything that is possible for them in life. It is written for the people who are hungry to do more, to have more, and to be more than they ever have been before. Perhaps the most important insight of all with regard to success is that to achieve greatly, you must become a different person. It is not the material things you accomplish or acquire that matter so much as it is the quality of the person you must become to accomplish well above the average. The development of self-discipline is the high road that makes everything possible for you. This book will serve you as a step-by-step guide to becoming a remarkable person who is capable of remarkable achievements. A chance to encounter reveals the reason for success. Some years ago, I was attending a conference in Washington DC. During the lunch break, I was eating at the nearby food fair. The area was crowded, so I sat down at the last open table by myself, even though it was a table for 4. A few minutes later, an older gentleman and a younger woman who appeared to be his assistant came along, carrying a tray of food and obviously looking for a place to sit. Having lots of room at my table, I immediately arose and invited the older gentleman to join me. He was hesitant, but I insisted. Finally, he sat down quietly and thankfully, and we began to chat over lunch. It turned out that his name was Kopmir. As it happened, I immediately knew who he was. He was a legend in the field of success and achievement. Kopmir had written 4 best-selling books, each of which contained 250 success principles that he had derived from more than 50 years of research and study. I had read all 4 books from cover to cover, each more than once. After he had chatted for a while, I asked him the question that many people in situation would ask. Of all the thousands of success principles that you have discovered, which would you think is the most important? He smiled at me with a twinkle in his eyes, as he had been asked this question many times, and he replied without hesitating. The most important success principle of all was stated by Albert Hubbard, one of the most prolific writers in American history at the beginning of the 20th century. He said, "Self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you'll feel like it or not." He went on to say, "There are 919 other success principles that I have found in my readings and experience, but without self-discipline, none of them work. With self-discipline, they all work." Thus, self-discipline is the key of the personal greatness. It is the magic quality that opens all the doors for you and makes everything else possible. With self-discipline, the average person can rise as far and as fast as his talents and intelligence can take him. But without self-discipline, a person with every blessing of background, education and opportunity will seldom rise above mediocrity.
Your 2 worst enemies. Just as self-discipline is the key to success, the lack of self-discipline is the major cause of failure, frustration, underachievement, and unhappiness in life. This causes us to make excuses and sell ourselves short.
Perhaps the 2 biggest enemies of success, happiness, personal fulfillment are first the path of least resistance and second the expediency factor. The path of least resistance is what causes people to take an easy way in almost every situation. They seek shortcuts to everything. They arrive at work at the last minute, leave at the first opportunity. They look for get-rich-quick scheme and easy money. Over time, they develop the habit of always seeking an easier, faster way to get things they want rather than doing what is hard but necessary for achieving the real success. The expediency factor, which is an extension of the law of least resistance, is even worse than leading people to failure and underachievement. This principle says people invariably seek the fastest and easiest ways to get the things they want right now with little or no concern for long-term consequences of their behaviors. In other words, most people do what is expedient, what is fun and easy, rather than what is necessary for success. Every day and every minute of every day, there is a battle going on inside you between doing what is right, hard and necessary, like an angel on your one shoulder, or doing what is fun, easy and little or no value, like a devil on the other shoulder. Every minute of every day, you must fight and win this battle with expediency factor and resist the pull of the path of least resistance, if truly you desire to become everything you are capable of becoming. Take control of yourself. Another definition of self-discipline is self-mastery. Success is possible only when you can master your own emotions, appetites and inclinations. People who lack the ability of master their appetites become weak and resolute, as well as unreliable in other things as well. Self-discipline can also be defined as self-control. Your ability to control yourself and your actions, control what you say and do, and ensure that your behaviors are consistent with your long-term goals and objectives is the mark of the superior person. Discipline has been defined as self-denial. This requires that you deny yourself the easy pleasures, the temptation that lead so many people astray, and instead discipline yourself to do only those things that are right for the long term and appropriate for the moment. Self-discipline requires delayed gratification, the ability to put off satisfaction in the short term in order to enjoy the greater reward in the long term. Think long term. Sociologist Dr. Edward Benfield of Howard University conducted a 50-year study into the reason for upward socio-economic mobility in America. He concluded that the most important single attribute of people who achieve great success in life was long-time perspective. Benefit defined time perspective as amount of time an individual takes into consideration when determining his present actions. In other words, the most successful people are the long-term thinkers. They look into the future as far as they can to determine the kind of people they want to become and the goals they want to achieve. They then come back to the present and determine the things they will have to do or not to do to achieve their desired future. This practice of long-term thinking applies to work, career, marriage, relationship, money and personal conduct, each of which is covered in the pages ahead. Successful people make sure that everything they do in short term is consistent with where they want to end up in the long term. They practice self-discipline at all the times. Perhaps the most important word in long-term thinking is sacrifice. Superior people have the ability to throughout their lives make sacrifices in short term, both large and small, so as to assure greater result and rewards in the long term. You see this willingness to sacrifice in people who spend many hours and even years preparing, studying and upgrading their skills to make themselves more valuable, so that they can live a better life in future, rather than spending most of their time in socializing and having fun in the present. Your ability to think, plan and work hard in the short term and to discipline yourself to do what is right and necessary before you do what is fun and easy is the key to creating wonderful future for yourself. Your ability to think long term is a developed skill. As you get better at it, you become more able to predict with increasing accuracy what is likely to happen to you in the future as the result of your actions in the present. This is a quality of a superior thinker. Short-term gain can cause long-term pain. There are two laws that you fall victim to when you fail to practice self-discipline. The first is called law of unintended consequences. The law states that unintended consequences of an action can be far worse than the intended consequences of that behavior because of lack of long-term thinking. The second is the law of pervasive consequences, which says that short-term actions aimed at immediate gratification can lead to perverse or opposite consequences from those which it was aimed. For example, you might have made an investment of time, money, emotion with desire to intent to better off and happier as a result. But because of you acted without carefully thinking or doing your homework, the consequences of your behavior turned out to be far worse than if you had done nothing at all. Every person has had this experience and usually more than once. The common denominator of success. Herbert Gray, a businessman, conducted a long-term study searching for what he called the common denominator of success. After 11 years, he finally concluded that the common denominator of success was that successful people make a habit to doing the things the unsuccessful people don't like to do. And what are these things? It turned out that the things that successful people don't like to do are the same things that failure don't like to do either. But successful people do them anyway because they know that this is the price they have to pay if they want to enjoy greater success and reward in the future. What Gray was found that successful people are more concerned with the pleasing results, whereas failure were more concerned about pleasing method. Successful happy people were more concerned with the positive long-term consequences of their behaviors, whereas unsuccessful people were more concerned from personal enjoyment and immediate gratification. Motivational speaker Dennis Whitley has said that the top people were those who were more concerned with activities that were goal achieving, whereas average people were more concerned with activities that were tension relieving. Dinner before dessert. The simplest tool in practice of the self-discipline is to eat dinner before dessert. In a meal, there is a logical order of dishes, and then dessert comes last. First you eat main course and clean your plate. Only then do you have dessert. There is a cute but misleading bumper sticker that says, "Life is short, eat dessert first." Just think, if you come home after work and instead eating healthy dinner, you ate a large piece of apple pie with ice cream. What kind of appetite for healthy, nutritious food would you have afterward? With all that sugar in your stomach, how would you feel? Would you feel re-energized and eager to do something productive? Or would you feel tired or sluggy? and ready to write off your day and largely unfinished. You get the same result when you go for a drink or two after work and then you come home and turn your television. These are the simple different form of desert that are largely eliminate your ability to do anything useful for the rest of your evening. Perhaps the worst part of all is that whatever you do repeatedly soon becomes a habit, and a habit once formed is hard to break. The habit of taking an easy way, doing what is fun and enjoyable, or eating dessert before dinner becomes stronger and stronger, and it leads to inevitable to personal weakness, underachievement and failure. The habit of self-discipline. Fortunately, you can develop a habit of self-discipline. The regular practice of discipline yourself to do what should you do, when should you do it, whether feel like it or not, becomes stronger and stronger as you practice it. You refuse to make excuses. Bad habits are easy to form but hard to live with. Good habits are hard to form but easy to live with. And as Goethe said, everything is hard before it's easy. It is hard to form a habit of self-discipline, self-mastery and self-control. But once you have developed them, they become automatic and easy to practice. When the habit of self-discipline are firmly entrenched in your behavior, you start to feel uncomfortable when you are not behaving in the self-disciplined manner. The best news is that all habits are learnable. You can learn any habit you need to learn or in order to become the kind of person you want to become. You can become an excellent person by practicing self-discipline whenever it is called for. Every practice of self-discipline strengthens every other discipline. Unfortunately, every weakness in discipline weakens your other discipline as well. To develop the habit of self-discipline, you first make a firm decision about how will you behave in particular area of activity. You then refuse to allow exceptions until the habit of self-discipline in that area is firmly established. Each time you slip as you will, you resolve once again to keep practicing the self-discipline until it becomes easier for you to behave in a disciplined way than to behave in an undisciplined way. The big payoff. The payoff of developing high level of self-discipline is extraordinary. There is a direct relationship between the self-discipline and self-esteem. The more you practice self-mastery and self-control, the more you like and value yourself. The more you discipline yourself, the greater is your sense of self-respect and personal pride. The more you practice self-discipline, the better is your self-image. You see yourself and think yourself in a more positive way. You feel happier and more powerful as a person. The development and maintenance of habit of a self-discipline are lifelong tasks, an ongoing battle. It never ends. The temptation to follow the path of least resistance and expectancy factor lurk continually in your back of your mind. They are always waiting for an opportunity to pounce, to lead you astray into doing what is fun, easy and unimportant rather than what is hard, necessary and life-enhancing. Napoleon Hill concluded his best-selling book of the same name by saying that self-discipline is the master key to the riches. Self-discipline is the key to self-esteem, self-respect and personal pride. The development of self-discipline is your guarantee that you will eventually overcome all the obstacles and create a wonderful life for you. The ability to practice self-discipline is the real reason why some people are more successful and happy than others. How this book is written. In the pages ahead, I will describe the 21 areas of your life in which practice of self-discipline is vital to fulfilling your full potential and achieving everything that is possible for you. This book is divided into 3 sections for greater ease of use. Part 1 is entitled Self-Discipline and Personal Success. In these 7 chapters, you will learn how to release more and more of your personal potential by practicing self-discipline in every area of your personal life, including goal setting, building character, accepting the responsibility, developing courage. In the 7 chapters of Part 2, you will learn how to achieve vastly more than ever before in areas of business, sales, and personal finance. You learn why and how self-discipline is essential for becoming a leader in your field, to operating a business more profitably, to making more sales, investing more intelligently, and managing your time for a maximum result. Finally, in the 7th chapter of the Part 3, you will learn how to apply miracle of self-discipline in your personal life. You will learn how to practice self-discipline in areas of happiness, health, fitness, marriage, children, friendship, and attainment of peace of mind. You will learn how to enhance the quality of your life and your relationship in every area. In each chapter, I will show you how you can incorporate higher level of self-discipline and self-mastery into everything you do. In the pages ahead, you will learn how to take a complete control of your own personal and professional development and how to become a stronger, happier, more self-confident person in every area of your life that is important for you. You will learn how to break old habits that may be holding you back and how to develop habits of self-reliance, self-determination and self-discipline that will enable you to set and achieve any goal. You will learn how to take a complete control over your mind, your emotions and your future. When you master the power of self-discipline, you will become unstoppable like a force of nature. You will never make excuses for not making progress. You will accomplish more in the next few months and years than most people accomplish in their life.